Skye Squad, we are back in the building, and Love and Marriage Huntsville is back, baby. And what I love is that they are treating this like it is a brand new season. Oh, yes, even though it's like mid season return, they're treating it as though it is a brand new season because we got a new cast photo and everything. So, y'all know I like that because as I told Carlos in our interview, I was like, we the content creators, we need new material to work with in terms of visuals, so keep giving us the new, okay? Now, with that being said, listen, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell button, smack, tap, flip, all of that good stuff with the like button. Let's get down into the biz night because I got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to cover in this episode. If I had to give this episode a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it like a 9.5. This feels like the longest girls trip ever. I mean, it does. You know what I'm saying? I almost forgot that the guys were part of the cast. But that tells me that what that tells me, especially given that the end of this episode is still another cliffhanger, it tells me that there was a lot to work with this. So yeah, let's say a 9.5 is, I think that's a good little judge right there. You know what I'm saying? For this episode. Let me know what you guys think about it. And a lot happened. A lot. Every single moment of this episode was jam-packed with nuance, with different things happening, and we're gonna go down the list. We start off where we left off in the last episode with the ladies at dinner, and it's really Melody versus Destiny, with Destiny revealing to the group that Melody, I guess, had maybe been allegedly, let me put the alleged badge up here because this is what Destiny said, and Melody does not agree with that. But Destiny says that Melody, I guess, was calling, I'm assuming they're talking about Arion, and I guess trying to coach her on respectful cheating, this, that, and the third. Now, I do remember in the previous episode, I thought it was the previous episode where they actually showed a flashback of Melody talking to the group about respectful cheating. Now, again, because these conversations happen off camera, we don't necessarily know what went on. I don't know that it would be not reasonable to believe that Mel may have had some level of conversation with Ariane, specifically because I thought we had heard or were maybe even told that she went over there to try to, get her together at one point in time. I don't know if that's true. That's what I thought I remember. Honestly, it's been so long ago that I can't remember. But if she did try, I could see why. Okay, because at that point in time, I'm sure the energy was like, don't mess with my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So the problem with the Destiny and Melody of it all is that this is like one of those classic friendship breakups that you see on reality TV. And it reminds me of Phaedra and Candy. And the reason I say that is because, and I don't know, when I got to look back at their friendship. Did they bond over the things that they were going through in their respective marriages? Is that is that what brought them so close? And if so, was that a relationship that was indeed built to last? Sometimes you find yourself in a friendship with a kindred spirit because of what you guys are both going through at that time. But does that mean that you will maintain that friendship, or that the friendship has a solid enough foundation to really withstand true cracks in the foundation? You got to ask. I mean, as a grown up, I feel like you got to ask those questions, and I think that is what this situation provides from a sociological perspective. Is okay. Like, let's really look at the core of the friendship initially, because when we look at that, maybe what the two of them actually really miss is the relationship of turmoil that they both had. And I don't know that Melody really misses it as much as I do believe that Destiny misses it. What I do believe is that there is a love that I think that is there between them, but I don't know that Melody wants to go back there. And I look at when we look at those types of relationships in our life, I can also look at certain friendships that I've had in the past. I can respect what was there, but also to never want to go back there. Because if I feel like you tried to destroy me as a friend, I think that that's another thing. If you do something to me and maybe you don't see it as you didn't see it as a slight towards me. It was something that you did that ultimately maybe it selfishly was something for you, but it impacted me negatively. That's something that I think people can work towards. But when we start to get to the place where you're trying to destroy me or I'm trying to destroy you, first of all, that ain't never gonna happen with me. I don't have no desire to destroy nobody. Like that's not how I maneuver in life. That's not how I think. I don't possess, like I'm not think I don't want that for anyone. So I can't wrap my brain around that. But what I can say is that there are certain times in my life where I feel like I can respect where we were as friends, but I don't want to go back there. And I really think that that is where these two ladies are. As much as I feel like I wish that they could get back to that place, I just don't think that it's going to ever be possible, as much as I feel like they can get to a place where they are peaceful. And that's kind of where I feel like I really think that they both want peace, but I think it looks a little differently for both of them. I think for Destiny, it feels almost kind of like I really miss this relationship on some level. And I think for Melody, it's kind of like I respect what was, but it ain't there no more for me. That's what it feels like. And it's unfortunate because it's a tricky space to maneuver through. With that being said, you have secrets in between these two people that I do feel like all of those secrets and things like that should be valued, respected. And when we are no longer friends, all of those secrets, in my opinion, if the secrets die with the friendship, you ain't got to worry about me spreading your business because I'm not gonna do it. Whatever we said when we was friends, when we was ace bone coons, if I ain't spread it then, I ain't spreading it now. That's just my code. Period. Um, Destiny does get up in the middle of this, and it looks like she's about to get about it, but she says she's about to leave. Um, it's hard for me to say what I would do in a situation like this, but what I can say is, you know, she was about to leave because she was about to get heated. If you triggered easily in terms of like, okay, I'm about to pop, then it's probably best that you walk off. But you got to do it in a way that don't look like you about to lean in and lean back. Lean back. Don't lean in, girl. Okay, lean back and scoot out the way. Okay. Um, Stormy, I think, is very much like, people are passionate. And I think that's also too because we've seen that level of passion come from Stormy before, right? And so that's just her personality, right? Everybody ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you stand up and you talking to me like that, I might think that you're trying to like, come at me. And so I don't know how that's gonna play out. So everybody's a little different, you know what I mean? So you got to kind of watch those types of things. Now, um, they bring Destiny back inside, but Melody is kind of like done with the situation. And so she's about to leave. So they all are heading out. Now here comes Chanita. Okay. Now, outside, following Chanita on Instagram, okay, that's pretty much where I have been exposed to her. I like her. On this show, Chanita, baby, we gotta talk. So Chanita says to Latisha, come on, Ops. Now, at this point in time, I honestly cannot say that I blame Latisha one bit for popping off on Chanita. I do not blame her. I don't blame her because this is not the first time you've said it, and now you're saying it to me to my face. And the problem that we know that Latisha doesn't know is that she has certainly told Mel and I think it's Lauren. Lauren is Lauren the cutie that we be seeing in the videos? Okay. So I think she told Mel and Lauren and maybe somebody else that was sitting right there. Oh, she's the ops because of X, Y, and Z when it was on the beach. She said she tell you who she is. You need to believe it. She against you. She not for you. She'll sit at a table with somebody she don't like. I mean, that's called being an adult in my eyes. But anyway, we're gonna all have to be with around people that we don't necessarily care for at some point in time. So, like, girl, what you want her to do? Like, you can't wall yourself in. That's the nature of reality TV in the first place. Frenemy ship. Okay, girl, are you new here? So when she says come on ops, I don't blame Latisha one bit for popping off, because I feel like you keep poking the bear, and then the bear you keep trying to get a rise out of me, and now I have risen. Okay, so I don't blame her one bit. Should Latisha have gotten in her face? Well, I don't know. Now Latisha might have had to jump up to reach her, but I mean, at the end of the day, I felt like Kimmy tried to talk she tried to tell Chanita, listen, you can't keep calling her that and expect for her not to react. And Shanita's so busy talking about, well, she ain't got nothing to lose. I do. And it's like, but you don't really know her like that. What do you know other than either A, what you've been told, or B, what you have likely seen on TV? Okay. So that's, for me, the only reason you would know she's an op outside of, I mean, there's only one way that you would come to that conclusion, and that would be to have seen it, right? On the television screen, perhaps, right? So, like, for you to keep doing that, like, at a certain point in time, you can't blame a person for popping if you keep on tapping on that balloon. The balloon gonna pop at some point, babe. I'm sorry. We'll get to her apology later. Okay. Kimmy tried to talk to her. So then Destiny pulls Sunny aside. In my mind, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is finally about to be over. Destiny and Sunny about to have a real ponderosa. Now, Destiny pulls her to the side and she wants to express to her that she was very hurt. Destiny is hurt by two things, I think. One, the fact that, we were friends and now you are with the person that I was dating. And then two, not only we were friends, but, we were friends. Okay. I think that's where Destiny is. And the fact that, Sunny had been trying to like drag her throughout the situation. And she had been. She talked about Destiny being a side chick. She said all of these things about Destiny. And Destiny's like, listen, so Sunny apologizes and tells her, I felt, I had to go on the defense. And I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, if you want to say that. But I think for Destiny, she wants her to acknowledge, girl, we had a real relationship. And I wish that if Sunny just simply said, okay, I acknowledge that what we had to you felt like friendship, because that's what I was giving. That's maybe the energy you were receiving. Maybe I really don't know. But at the end of the day, I do feel like she owes some level of, you're right. You're right. You're right. I wish that this could have been different, because I think that would go a long way towards smoothing the situation out. Um, but it doesn't work because Destiny doesn't hear what I think she wants to hear, and so she kind of moves right on. She moves right on along. Okay. Um, Melody and Destiny have a couple of similarities in the way that I think there's something that they need from each other. Not really that. I think it is the way kind of they respond to certain things with certain people, with each other and with other people. But it also can work against them. So that's probably again another reason why they won't get back together as friends the way that they probably used to be. But it's unfortunate. I really did like them as friends when we look back at the relationship. Because I think that there's love there, but in a different way. So anyway, I digress. Um, so back at the house, Destiny tells Melody, I'm sorry, and that she loves her. And Mel receives it. She's like, okay, listen, stuff happens. And I did like Melody's approach to that situation, because while she didn't say I love you back, I felt like she handled Destiny's emotional state with a level of emotional maturity. Now, when she got back to the room, I'm sure when she was telling the story to Chanita, I'm sure she could then really vent her feelings. But I think at that point in time, A, hosting the trip, then B, being just trying to be considerate of somebody who's in an emotional space, I think she handled that well. The next day, but I do gotta say something about this to Destiny though. I feel like you have to make up your mind where you want to be with Mel. And it has to be at a place where I'm not going to react to the things that you're saying to me. I'm going to stick to what I really feel. And what I really feel is I miss our friendship. I'm really, really sorry. I was hurt. I want you to acknowledge that. And I hurt you. And I will acknowledge that. And I think if it was said in that way, in a one-on-one conversation or it just in a natural state, and then you got to let it go. You got to let it go. You got to try to figure out a way to make that progress and let it go. And we're going to make some progress today, okay, on this in a couple of, well, at least it sounds like it. So Mel acknowledges Destiny's feelings over Moses the next day when the ladies are out. I think they're going like on some type of like, it's not an ATV, is it? Is it an ATV? I can't remember. So the ladies are divvied up with, each other and, in a small group, and Sunny's not there. She's off riding in her vehicle with one of the guides. Melody takes some time to acknowledge Destiny's feelings over Moses especially after Destiny had read the text messages from Moses from the night before, because it really painted a picture for, I think, everybody to see that maybe Moses was playing the two of them against each other, or at least playing the two of them so he could get with one and still have the other. I really don't know. So that was a nice moment right there because I felt like, oh, we're making some progress. There's a little bit of tension, I think, when Mel says that Stormi used to hang out with Sunny. I feel like we're seeing bubbling tension between Stormi and Melody. That it will be interesting next week to see where that goes. All right. And Stormi's like, no, I wasn't hanging out with Sunny. She was just a producer. So then Mel and Destiny have a sidebar where Destiny wants to acknowledge how she might have made Melody feel by still hanging out with Martell. And she says to the group, I think it was to the group, she says, now I understand how that feels. And I thought that was important. These they seem like little moments, but they were moments that this is what I talk about when we talk about reality TV. We want tension, we want the drama, but we also want resolve. Okay. We want some resolve with the situations, because that makes us feel good. That makes us feel satisfied. So we as a viewer, we want the drama, we want the chaos and craziness, but we also want to see something brought full circle, and we want to see some people move past some things, right? But then things go left. Sometimes a conversation will last a little too long, and I feel like as soon as Melody and Destiny get to like a good place, I feel like Destiny, you got to learn how to just let it go. You're gonna have to learn how to just say, you know what? Ooh, we made it some baby steps, and I'm gonna celebrate that. Okay, we are good where we at right now, and we'll take another baby step the next time we see each other, or we'll try to have a one-off. Let's go get together one-on-one Ponderosa, and sip some tea together one day at the stove. Okay, but I feel like this is where it goes left. Okay, Destiny wants Mel to listen to her and receive that accusations that Mel has made have hurt her. Specifically, that she has something going on with Martell. She ain't had nothing going on with Martell. She wants the world to know. I don't believe she had anything going on with Martell, but and I feel like this. If you know it ain't true, I feel like just don't even bother with it, because I don't see that. What I do see is they kind of act like a little like brother sister type situation. So that's that. And I think that there's something that needs to be said about the fact that, Melody and Destiny have their own relationship. Melody and Martell had a previous, not Melody and Martell, but Destiny and Martell, from what I understand, also had a previous friendship as well. And I think that if there was some way for Destiny to have separated those two things, I don't know if that's even possible because from watching divorces play out on TV or even in real life, I think that there's sometimes not a real good way to stay in the middle. I don't know. Um, but Melody now wants to know, okay, since we want to keep talking, girl, you told my mama that she needs to stop pimping me out. What did you mean by that? And why did you say it? And see, this is what I mean, Destiny. Girl, you should have had let it go. Now you got the answer for this. Because this could have waited for another day. If y'all had made baby steps like y'all had been doing, you would have been able to just simply put this off until things were even cooler. So now Destiny's like, well, I'm sorry I said it. In her confessional, she tells us what she really meant. So I'm like, Destiny, you're gonna have to learn how to stay on track. But that's what I mean. You cannot respond, and I know this is a real emotional maturity thing. You cannot respond to someone in this if you're responding to somebody in what you think is the spirit that they're giving you something, then you have got to be accurate. You have got to be accurate and be able to stand in whatever it is that you're delivering back. Case in point, if you felt some type of way about what her mom said to you that day, as we saw in the flashback, then number one, there's two things. That's somebody's mom. Okay. When we talk about like somebody, I always call her just for my days in the church, an elder mama. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? All right, mama, I got you. Okay. Um, but if you are going to say what you said, then you got to be able to stand 10 toes down in it. So what you probably should have said at the time was, Miss Mama, I feel like you don't ever hold her accountable. And that's my problem. Because that's what you meant. But saying that you pimp her out is going to land a different way. Okay? So you got to be clear with your response to the stimuli. Okay? So there's that. So when Mel is like, no, you're just not going to apologize for that and then expect me to just move on from it, I want to know why you said it. Destiny kind of just has to, well, I really meant this or that. And it's like, it didn't land that way. I know what you meant, but it didn't land that way. So now, we got to put a Band-Aid on it and kind of move on. All right. And I was like, oh, we had just made some progress. Anyway, so then they have a sunset dinner that Mel has arranged. So at this point in time, Chanita apologizes to Latisha. But she tells Latisha, girl, I thought we was, I was saying you was the ops with a wink. I was, I thought that was our little thing. That was our little thing. No, you didn't. Because you told everyone on the beach that reasons why you felt like she was the ops. And there was nothing in what you said that was like, oh, that's my little thing. That's our little thing for each other. No, you had a reason for it. You told Kimmy when you were walking in the van because you felt like she was the messiest person there. And if you felt like she was being messy, you should have just stood on it. This is how the apology should have gone, Chanita. Well, Dr. Chanita, I should say. I called you the ops. What I really meant was that I felt like you were being messy. And I want to apologize for that because the way I felt could have been one thing, but I think calling you that in that moment, that was wrong. And if I felt like you were being messy, I should have just pulled you to the side and said something. But I didn't know you like that. That to me would have been truthful. And it may not have ended up in a resolve, but at least it could have been a starting point based on your truth. And you could either go from there or not. But Latisha graciously says, well, you know what? It's fine. I shouldn't have reacted that way. I should have told you that you calling me that felt a certain type of way. And I agree. You should have said it right then and there. I don't like you calling me the ops because it feels like it's malicious. So you are right, Latisha. You should have said something then. Um, so then Destiny returns from the restroom, and somehow I guess Stormi ends up in her seat, sitting beside Mel. And Destiny's like, "Oh, girl, get up out of my seat." And so Kimmy kind of has some thoughts about this in her confessional, and Sonny feels like Destiny is a little obsessed with Melody. Um, it was an interesting moment. It was definitely interesting, and I could see what they were saying. So, but again, I think it goes back to me feeling like, based on the episode, from what I'm seeing, what I stated earlier, that Destiny wants that friendship back in some way. Maybe, maybe not, but that's how it's coming across on the screen. And it feels like Melody is like, I'm okay with where we are. I don't want to go backwards. I'm happy in my life, and I'm happy you're okay. Okay, that's what it's giving. Um, Mel brings up that Kimmy likes it when the guys are around, and Kimmy's like, "Well, I feel like the guys add a little bit of extra energy to the mix, and they kind of add their jokes and stuff like that, and it kind of helps break the tension sometimes." I agree, because I think I said it. There is no comic relief on this show at the moment. Um, and on these couple of episodes, there's been no comic relief. There's actually not a lot of comic relief in general. I don't know where it's supposed to come from, but and what I mean by comic relief is that there's no really quirky person on here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean by that is like a Kathy Hilton, or like a Stacy from Potomac, or even a Karen from Potomac. Somebody that's just like, like, maybe, like, I can't, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like a Kim Richards, or somebody that's just a little kooky, a little wacky, a wacky Jackie. There's none of that on this show, and I think that that's really the only thing that's missing, to be honest with you. But Mel feels like, no, I like it being just the girls. Like, we didn't need the guys here for that. You know what I'm saying? We were able to walk through our own issues, and that's kind of true. They were able to kind of get through the issues. But Kimmy's stance on it, based on her confessional, is like, well, Mel, you had a little, tenderoni that you could, like, slap his booty and stuff like that. Now, I want to slap some booties too. The only booty I can slap, because I'm sitting right next to her at all times in this room, is Latisha. And I don't want to slap her booty. I want to slap Maurice's booty or something. I feel like that's how she feels. You just don't. So then Nell mysteriously brings up, Melody, I said I'm sorry about this before. I didn't say I'm sorry. I didn't say I'm sorry. And then I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. Lord have mercy. I shouldn't have said it. And I was like, where did this come from? And she's like, oh, but you know what? The millimeters. The millimeter. She's like, well, listen, girl. I know I brought it up before, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it. But you know what? I understand what you're saying now. You can't control other grown people. So Destiny's like, well, no, I think that you could diffuse the activation. Okay. And Nell is like, well, I don't want her to lose her fans. And so then it's brought up. Chanita says, well, that's what the internet is for. Let me say this. I guess it depends on what we're talking about, right? Because even during my conversation with Carlos, I was thinking I was thinking one thing, right? If we're talking about just the internet, and I think, okay, people commenting in defense of a certain person, like, I think that's fine, right? Like, if a cast member A is saying, F cast member B, F that person. That person ain't got nothing. They ain't got no money. They broke. They this, that, and the third. They husband is doing this. I feel like that type of stuff, and it's happening frequently, and the fans see it, and they say, no, F you. then I think that that's one thing, right? Now it ain't nothing I'm gonna do, but I'm just letting you know. Um, I don't know. I feel like those are the comments you kind of just try to like block out, right? Um, but and I also, Chanita, I'm like, I don't listen. I don't want you to experience none of this stuff either. So, like, I would stay out of that conversation. That would just be me. But Stormi then brings up her mom, and she says, everybody knows that my mom has had things to say about you, Melody, and I have made it clear that I do not want my mom to be saying or doing anything I do not agree. So she's like, she wants to know if Mel has ever said or done anything like that, told her, I guess, told the millimeters that she does not agree with what they're doing. Okay. Now, I think that, well, I have some thoughts, but I'm gonna get to those. So Mel wants to know, well, where is the proof that these are millimeters that are doing this and not just people that don't like you? Okay. Because those could technically be two different things. Now, Tisha says, well, they say they are millimeters. Okay. So then Chanita says, well, when you become someone like a Beyonce or someone like Melody or any type of celebrity with notoriety, with eyes on you, that is what or no, she says you don't say those things. You don't always get involved in that minutia of it all. And Tisha is like, so when they are coming after our businesses, and they say that, oh, it's because you don't like Mel or you did something to Mel, she was like, that's a problem. So Stormi's rationale is state where you stand. Do you agree? She's basically like, okay, I think what she wanted to hear in that moment was, I care about you guys and your businesses, and I don't want anything to happen to you and your businesses. And so I don't agree with anybody doing any of that. Now, I don't, based on this episode alone, that could either be already implied that Mel already understands that. But what she says is, I don't have to state ish, and it is to be continued. All right. So I rolled over. All right, got to move my chair. Sorry. Okay, so let me tell you what I think about this. For me, okay, I'm gonna tell you if it were me. All right, if it were me and my castmates, my people that are on the show that I'm producing, okay, were telling me, hey, like the squad is like they are coming after me. They are coming after me. And they coming after my business. Child, can you do something? I would probably say something. I would be like, but I don't. But there's a couple of things that we have to talk about, right? One, for me, this is just me. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Please don't call these people jobs. Please don't go to their jobs. And the reason I'm saying it is because I don't want any of you to put yourself in a position to have to defend yourself because people are crazy. We live in a space right now where energy is just a little unhinged, okay? Specifically around this election. So, for me, I am saying, y'all, please leave these people alone at their jobs, at their warehouses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a show. It ain't worth all of this. Have your opinions. And if you see something foul happening, I mean, like really foul, then yes, react. But I just don't want nothing to happen to y'all because you don't know what is going to tip the scales on a person should you go around their occupation. You don't know what type of securities they're going to start to put into place. And so just, I want you to be safe. as a viewer of this show and of this community, I want you to be safe. That's what I would say. And that's what I'm saying to you now, right? Because this is a show that we want to keep it. We want, I don't want us to get to a place, and I think Carlos and I talked about this, where people stop reviewing this show or they stop, they don't want to be on the show because they feel like they're going to be attacked if they say or do something that comes counter to what their favorite person is saying or doing. That's no matter who it is. Okay. And this is a conversation that we need to have. There are so many things, volatile things that we have to deal with in real life that this should not be one of them. Okay. So if you don't like what someone says, if you don't like what what their viewpoint, you don't have to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. The great thing about the internet is there's so much going on, you can turn your attention elsewhere. Or the great thing about, I feel like, most communities where we talk about these shows is it's okay to disagree. We're going to like one person one week and not like something that they do the next. So I just implore you to just try your hardest to move with the spirit of this is all for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And when you really want to support your favorite creator, your favorite cast member, buy their products. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to try to destroy someone else's business. You can simply buy and cheer and root for and comment on the people that you support. And the other people that you don't like, just ignore them. That would be the best solution. Because I think that what we want to do is I don't want to see this show go the way of something that people don't want to watch anymore because the audience feels toxic. It's one thing for the people on the show to do something toxic, but it's a whole different situation for us to then take that on. So that's just my 2 cents on this. I really implore you guys to just take a step back, observe, but don't absorb. And I think you will all have a much better, I think it will be better for everybody. People who watch the show, people who are on the show, because if people feel like they can't maneuver in their authentic selves because they are so afraid of what a group of people may do, then the show becomes inauthentic. And that only hurts in the long run the people that you really want to support. So I just say that to say, like, just as we move forward into this new season, y'all, let's try to enjoy it. I feel like there's, again, like I said, there's so much happening in the world today. I want to just have some things that we can just look forward to each week that we know that we're going to enjoy, because we need to hold on to those things. That is super important right now. So that's my soapbox. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I did. There's a lot of complexities here in the relationships, and I think there's a lot for us to discover as we move along. And remember, your favorite character is not going to always do the right thing, but that's what makes reality TV so good, because at some point in time, everybody's right, and sometimes everybody's wrong. That's it. So, thank you guys for listening to my TED Talk. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.